So today we'll come back to graphical user interface in Python. I know Mac users are having difficulties running the graphical user interface if you are using Paizo. So one of our students here suggested, because he did that successfully, the editor is a combination of an editor and a compiler together, right? It's a button array for compilation. So the program is called Text Wrangler. So I'm going to type that here. So it is called text. Is this? Oh, not test. Text. Is this correct? The spell? Yeah. So you can Google this, and then he said that it is very easy to install. So I wanted to install it. Still, you can. Probably I need to say that here. Note. Okay. Another issue is next week we're going to meet here again. The problem is, remember that last Thursday, reason we moved to Dobbsbury last Thursday was because our departmental faculty meeting was scheduled. But last Thursday we have incremental weather, so that whole college was cancelled. Therefore, faculty meeting was also cancelled, and it is rescheduled next Thursday. So this Thursday, today we will meet here, and next Thursday we're going to meet here at Dobbsbury also. So those who are online wants to see me can come and join us here in Dobbsbury next Thursday. And then we'll go back to Manhattan a week after that, which means I think the first Thursday of March will be at Manhattan campus. Okay, that is a special announcement. So today we'll look at graphical user interface. So this class was structured with the graphical user interface, but we looked at very quickly, very quickly, the for loop, of course while loop, and conditional statements, if statements, and yeah, pretty much of that, and then we come back here for graphical user interface. So although we are looking at some of the graphical user interface here, we'll still use conditional statements and repetitive statements. So you will still can refresh. All right. So I was talking about here some comparison of between graphical user interface and text-based user interface. For graphical user interface, we call that GUI-based Python scripting. Remember that this textbook has been posted on your Blackboard, so you can download and free to use. If you find any typo, any error from this textbook, I want you to let me know so that I can improve this textbook. Okay. For example, this Kinter should be in Korean New, something like this. So let's first start with, remember that we programmed once the temperature converter, right? From Fahrenheit to Celsius, and from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So we're going to use those two functions, and two functions will be in the graphical user interface. All right. So here is a sample that you can practice. So I'm going to explain this sample, and then you can practice it. The modules needs to be imported first. tkinter comes with your Python download, so you do not need to download extra. So once you have Python, then you can have the tkinter is available. But it doesn't mean that you can use any modules that come together with your Python compiler, Python software packaging. The basic modules are automatically available for you to use, so without having to import explicitly. But here, the tkinter graphical user interface should be imported explicitly. So this is the way that you can import, right?
Sorry, is it a notepad? If you were doing that on the Anaconda, we would need to import it.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whichever you do, are you working on Anaconda?
I mean, we use that with the
Paizo, yeah. Still, you need to, right? tkinter has so many. tkinter is a package. Within there are a lot of modules available. If you do this tkinter from tkinter import to star, then you're going to use all the modules available in this package. Okay. And then we have two functions. Okay. Two functions. This function is to convert. Okay, convert this convert function. Okay, this is a little different from your dialog-based function. Let me see if I have dialog-based functions. Hold on. Okay. So here's an example of dialogue-based function. In the dialogue-based function, you simply receive the arguments, like the number in Fahrenheit. If you receive a number in Fahrenheit, then with this F, you apply to this formula the computation, and whatever the outcome of this computation will be returned to the caller. For example, this one is called by here, right? DEG is the degree, right? This is a number, and DAT is a list. If you see the DAT, then DAT is converted from DATA, which is the data. So data is the placeholder of the user entered the text. So user enter temperature, and then when user enter temperature, it's not only the temperature only, but it has C or F. Okay, so temperature and C or F. For example, it enters 15 and F Fahrenheit, then this number and the indicator together is saved in this the variable data. What we need to do in the next statement is that we need to split these two values, so that the first value we split it. As we split this, then these two numbers will be in, then it'll be 15 comma and F. Again, it's not just the number 15, it should be text 15. Okay, so this will be in this DAT. So we need to now, if the length of DAT is greater than 0, which means two numbers or at least one number, two values or at least one value is entered, then we make this. Otherwise, we can say at the end here, we can say illegal input data, and then we still ask to do continually. If it is exact two values within that list, then first value will be assigned to DEG for degree, and then second value will be the unit. So it'll be Fahrenheit or Celsius. Okay, and then we can say we print the user entered the data, and then we can say length data 1. Then we can say break, and then we need to check the unit. Okay, if unit is F, small f or capital F, then we call the function to convert to Celsius. So convert to Celsius is called. If it is Celsius, the number in Celsius is given, then we call convert to F. When we call these functions, we send the value, degree, here 15, whatever user input value, which is in the first number, But the first number is not really a number, so we need to convert that to number, like floating points. It's not necessarily 15 integer, maybe 15.7, who knows, right? So maybe 15.7 it may enter. So if we send the number to convert to C, then when it comes to here convert to C, then take that number in and compute and return the result of that computation. So that is taken by C here, variable, and which is written here. Okay, this is dialog based. This is dialog based. What we will do in our practice, you're still doing something? Yeah. What we're going to do today, we're going to practice this the dialog-based Python, and then we can practice again in graphical user interface. If you see here graphical user interface, convert to C, and here convert to C up here. What is the difference between this and that? Can anyone say? This definition and that definition. What is the difference?
The first one?
The right hand side is a dialog based, and the left hand side, that is the text that I posted, which is a graphical user interface. The function definition, if you see the function definition, they are not the same.
Okay, this is for Celsius and this for Fahrenheit.
No, not. If they are the same, see here, convert to C and convert to C. The exact same function. Still there is a difference. Which one?
Over there we have vector.
Over there we can, what?
Vector.
Oh, return. Yeah, that is also different. What else?
I don't really understand the question.
I want you to see the difference, the definition. See here, this is convert to C, open parenthesis, and F, close parenthesis. Here, there's no such. See it, it's very clear. There's no parameter,
Yeah.
No arguments.
no arguments. That's what I want you to see.
We couldn't
It's
see
a very-
from their position.
I couldn't see from there.
Come forward. Why do you want to? There's no excuse. If you don't see, then. This is very strange.
So this one?
Some schools, if I go, then students filled from the first row, and they open their eyes, never close, no blinking. Some others, not in mercy, but some others, they all sit back and relax and never open their eyes. Not you. Do you see the difference, right? So tell me why. Why they are different? If anyone see it.
So it's this one is taking the input in Fahrenheit, and it converts it to centigrade, but
Yeah, that's right.
it returns in Fahrenheit.
That's right.
So if we return anything from that function, then it's going to be in Fahrenheit. The output is going to be in Fahrenheit.
That's true in both cases.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Let's first think about this dialogue based. If user enter say 15.7 space and F, so this number is in Fahrenheit, and then 15.7 will be sent here. So that is a 15.7, right? Because we said F, so if it is F, then it invokes this function with the parameter, which is 15.7. 15.7 in text should be converted to floating points. So 15.7 will come here in this function implementation, and then with this the number passed, received, this computation is done, and it should be returned. So outcome of that returning value is assigned to variable C, and that is written in this print statements. That is dialogue based. Okay, dialogue based, straightforward dialogue based. Graphical user interface. In the graphical user interface, you all already addicted to the graphical user interface. Addicted. In other words, in other ways, you enjoy it. Okay, graphical user interface. So let's say there is some text field, then you enter, right? And then if there is a button, then you simply click button. You enter value and click button, and then the computation result is not given to you like this. We have return statements, but here there's no return statements. See here, they're similar, right? We have a floating converter, so we have a float, but instead of receiving parameter, you have to read this very, very carefully. Instead of receiving parameter, what do we do here is that when user enter value, then it stays somewhere, right? Somewhere in your window. So your program should grab that value from that location. Look at this. There's some hint. .get, right? .get. .get. This is a function. Temp int. I don't know what it is, but there may be some location, right? So that tells you the location, and then this program says get it. Okay. So if you just say 15.7, then get that number and convert it to F, and then we can call it F. And that F is used in the same formula. Okay? After the computation, what this guy did here, the other dialogue based, after the computation is done, then the outcome is returned, because the caller is waiting for that number. Waiting for that number. See here, This guy is the caller. This guy is waiting the returning value, so that when the returning value comes, then we need to assign that to new variable here. Logically, that's what this dialogue-based programming does, right? On the other hand, in this graphical user interface, when I click, then I do not know. I just click the button. I don't do anything. I do not know where I need to do. But the programmer, in this program, it says, hey, when this button is clicked, then grab that number. This. So temp in is somehow, that should be defined, right? Temp in is not just a variable, but it means something, right? So that we can say, get it, get the value. Similarly, there is some other parameter. See here, temp in. Similarly, temp out C. This guy says, when the computation is done, then at some other location, put it back. We call that set. Okay? Dot get means get the value and do some cook. And then dot set means put it back, so that it may be displayed at some place in the graphical user interface. We do not know which number is picked up. We do not know where the new value will be displayed. It should be done somewhere, right? But in this program, we only see this guy says get the value and then put that value back. That's called the set. When we set, then set what? We need to set the C. Set the value with the variable C. That's what it does here. Here in this dialogue based, when we have this F, then we need to return that, and then we receive, returning value is received to C, and that is now written in dialogue. Okay? Do you see the big difference between the two?
So one thing they use the dialogue, that's like normal programming, like if I think that on Node.
Well, there is no graphical user interface. You simply typed and is text is scrolled,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
That's what we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Don't worry, we will see that. Oh, let's try how it works. Okay. I'm going to run in command line. Okay, this is command line. So I'm going to change the directory where that's located. So and then this is called the temp convert to 1. Okay, temp convert to 1.py. When I enter this, then it says enter temperature. See here? And this guy says here, enter a temperature. So we can enter. Let's try to enter 15.7 and space F. Okay, 15.7 and space F. Oh, this is endless. There's some while it runs forever. And after that, and we have to break. There's no break status here. So 15.7 and F, and it says the data given is 15.7, which is that I typed 15.7 degree in F. So I read that, which is negative 5.09999 in Celsius. That's what we returned here, right? Which is in C, which is, and then I put value. This is the outcome of that computation. Okay. This is dialog based. On the other hand, so I'm going to put this side here and come back here. Okay. So we have two functions, right? And then here, try and accept. This is some of the reserved word. Try colon and accept, and then some of the exception error. This is value error is a reserved word. Okay. So try and accept. Try means we can try this, but if there is any value mistyped or some errors, like our cases in dialog box, then it goes forever, right? We didn't check the potential error, but in this case, we check the potential error, but we try this. If it works, it works. Otherwise, if we have an exception, then we take care of it. How can we take care of it? In this case, pass. Don't worry, just pass. Okay. But instead of pass, if you can say something else. You can do. You can display some error messages if you know any specific reason. That type of things. That's what we did here. As we did in the first session, here's a TK, okay, uppercase T. TK is, when you do TK, then the basic window is created. This is a basic window. Okay, I would say the basic window, which is called here the root, is created. That's what it does. We can do here TK without assignments. Then window is created, but doesn't do anything. But that's not what we want to do, right? Once we create window, then inside that window, we need to add more components so that we need to hold that window. How can we hold that window? If we know the value, the name of that, we can hold it. So we can say root. And I changed that root to F, just for short. Doesn't really matter. Okay, this is to make it short. Which means from root to F. So now there is F. Okay, you can say, instead of root, you can say f.title. That's fine too. So this F is used here. remember that label? Then label is created so that you can say enter a temperature, click a button to somewhere, and first row number 0, and in the first row, and there may be 4 columns, but I want to span those all 4 columns and stick west. Should be okay, small w. And then entry here is, see here, text variable equals temp in. Remember the temp in? Have you seen this temp in somewhere? Do you remember the temp in? Since the temp in? Temp in. So somehow temp in, remember that in this graphical user interface, if user enters some value at somewhere, then your program needs to get there and pick it up, right? By calling the function .get. So that is the thing that we have to do. So temp in is assigned to text variable. So entry is a sort of a constructor of entry. Entry means text field. Okay, and that text field is in F. F is basic window. So text field is in text basic window, where, because the user needs to enter some value, so we need to specify what is text variable. Text variable is a reserved word. So you have to text variable equal whatever the value here, that is the value that is going to be used here to get. But before you do temp in, you have to define that. What is a temp in? Usually we do not define any variable type, any constant type here in Python, but only something that you need to hold in this GUI interface, then only those values needs to be defined. So we have to define temp in, which is string variable, temp out C, that is string variable, temp out F, that is string variable. So we need to define these 3. Temp in is user entered value. Temp out C is when after the computation is done, if it is a Celsius temperature, I want to put the computation result in this temp out C. If it is Fahrenheit, then I want to put that in this Fahrenheit. So we have 3 string variables defined, and those 3 string variables are, one of them, if it is a user entered variable value, then we need to use that in this entry. The other 2, the result of that computation, then we need to, in the label, simply text. The label means just simply text to display. So we need to display that. Temp out C is displayed. Temp out F is displayed. All right. So, okay. That's pretty much what we have. But now I'm going to show to you how it works. Okay. So I want you to practice that. I'm going to bring up Paizo. here piezo. 이미지 후에 이미 들리게 했어요. My computer is at home a little bit, so we need to wait. Close. Close. I'm going to close this. Okay. But I'm going to okay. So this is the program. Remember that this okay. So we have convert to C and convert to F, and we don't need to this. And we declare those special variable, and then I'm going to change this to small w, and again this should be small w, and F this should be small w. Means it stick to west. Remember that we have in any space, if you want to push the text to the top within that container, then you need to put N, so N for north. If you want to push it to left, then W. If you want to push it to right, then E for east, S for south, if you want to push it to south. That's what we do here, sticky, okay? And if you have two of this, then you can simply say W and E. And then here, W. What else should I do? Okay, and then alright, so this is This is what this program runs. Here, enter a temperature and click a button to convert. It says here, enter a temperature and click a button to convert to ... So we have a ... This is on top. This label is on top. How do you know that is on top? We know this label and entry. This is a label, text, there is a label, and we have two buttons, and we have one entry here. Text field is entry, and we have another label. So we have a label and another label here, right? So a lot of labels and two buttons and one entry. So we have a label, button, two buttons, and one entry and another labels. They are all in F. See here, label, open parenthesis, and F. So label is contained in F. Entry is contained in F. Button is contained in F. What is F? F is nothing but root. Root is the basic window, right? Button is in the basic window. Label is in the basic window, and so on and so forth. So they are all in this window. And then another parameter for this label constructor is text equal. This is a reserved word, and after equal sign you enter whatever you want to display as a prompt, so that you put here prompt, and close that label constructor. And then you can say dot grid. Dot grid. This, I want to put this, I can bring it. Okay. I want you to watch this. If you do this, see highlighted once? If you do this, then it's, a new object is created. That object is nothing but label object. Okay? Label object is constructed by having this constructor label. Then something is created, right? That we call that object. Okay? So label object is created. Very similar to here. If you do TK, then that is created. But in this case, as it is created, we can call it root. But in this case, we didn't do that. We just created it. Okay? We can say that. Here, say, my label. My first label. Equal. Equal. And then we can separate it. Say my first label dot grid. We can do this. Do you see these two statements? First statement is that once the label object is created, I label it. I can say that is my first label. And then this my first label is called grid. Grid is another function. Grid means, you know the grid structure? Like tabular structure, tables. So that we have columns and rows. When we have a graphical user interface, if we have a label, table format, then we can very easily, hey, I want to place this element here, upper left or lower right corner. Very similar to that, if we have columns and rows, then we can say, oh, I want to put this in the row number 0 and column number 0, then that is upper left corner, right? So that is what we are doing. So even if we do this, it should work, right? Let's see. So I want to close this. I want to save this. And still works, right? Only difference here is that as I construct a label object, I assigned it to a new variable, and that new variable in another line, another statement, calls one of the available function, which is grid. That's what it is. Let's try here. 15.7. And if I want to convert it to, let's say, if it is Fahrenheit, I want to convert it to Celsius. So convert it to Celsius. Let's label, convert to the Celsius. Probably this may not work. So it's not working. Okay. We want temp. Okay, let's try. Let's say 15.7. Okay, so that works. Maybe it's a piezo issue again. All right. So in the command line Windows, it works in this way, right? This is the program GUI1.temp. There's a program here, GUI1.temp.py, and it works that way. Okay? So I wanted to practice that way. And then we can this one you can combine them together, because if we do not need to reuse that variable, my L1, then when I combine them together in one statement, that's fine, like others, right? So we have entry, label, and button. Or here, button that I need to explain to you. If you have a button, then there's a text. So this a button label, button name. Button name is inf to convert. When this button is clicked, then we have another argument of command. So command equal and function name convert to C. This is function name. That is the function of that. That is called. Remember that when we call this function, we do not send any variable, any value together with that function name. But within this function implementation, we can say that, hey, you need to get the value from some location. That's what it does. So we can execute it again and bring up here. What is the weather today? Maybe 35. Maybe 35. If it is in Fahrenheit, I want to see what is it in Celsius. Oh, not in here, but we have to convert here. Right? So we need to run it from the command line. So that if it is 35, 1.6 Celsius. If 35 in Celsius, 35 degree in Celsius, then that's very hot, right? I think close to 100 degree or 95 degrees.
Yeah, it's 1 degree Celsius.
It's close, right? 35, that is a 1.66667. We need to truncate this. We can do that. If your program is not running properly in IDE, like mine in Paizo, then you can try it in command line. In the command line, you have to run Python, call Python space and your program name. Then this will work. The beauty of this graphical user interface is that if you change it to, for example, you can do it continually, right? You can do 89 and redo, then it works. 89 in Fahrenheit, then 31 degree in Celsius. Let's say 89 in Celsius, then that is 192 degree in Fahrenheit. So we cannot survive. And in the textbook, I ask you to do, for example, so this is the initial GUI, and yeah, and then another somewhere here. Can you make it right a little bigger here, and then some other colors? How can you do that? There's a hint. You can change it font and size. I wanted to let me know when you are done successfully. Not the extra version here, not like this, but the initial, this version. Okay. You can upgrade your program quickly the way that I shown to you. Remember that? See here. Can you make this way? Okay. A little bigger font. Hey, read this hint, and then upgrade your program quick here. I want you to improve a little more. Remember that in the textbook, if you put 53, click on the button for Celsius, then it returns 11.6666, the long, the floating points, and finally in C, right? So can you make it like 2 decimal points, 2 places of decimal points? So 67.67, and also 127.4 instead of 4. You can format it in this way, 40. Okay. So what I want you to do for the improvement of this program, so make it bigger so that a user can enter. See here, this text box is bigger, and button and in different color. I already mentioned that somewhere here, right? Here, point to the. I'm going to put this there also for another. Do you see the difference? This is the old version. This is new version, right? So from the new version. So another hint. I'm going to put another hint.
Keyword for decimal, is it dec or final?
Why? For what? Oh, to make this.
Yeah.
Watch this. I'm going to do hints. This is my hint. Look at that. Anybody complete? Complete this or that? If you do not know RGB, then first two number is for red and second two digits. So red in hexacode. Okay. So the hexacode, if you want to set the full number to hexacode, then it will be FF, right? So any number in between 00 and FF. Here's a code that I'm going to show to you. Okay. See here, we simply enter C, right? But I put here, instead of C, I put this. I reformat the value C or value F before it is set into temp out C or F. This is a text format, and within curly braces, then it tells me whatever comes after. So if I colon, then everything after this, okay? And then the format of that is dot point to F, which is decimal place is 2 in floating points. So this F is not the same as that F. This F, see here, everyone. This F is this floating point. This F within quote, that F is a reserved word. F for floating points. And another, the fonts. See here, entry. I changed the fonts. Font is called Helvetica 24 bold. And then with the 7, that is okay. And another label that output. See here the label, the output. Then I made here, this is a number. FG means foreground number. If background color, if you want to change the background color, then you have to BG. FG means the color of the text. FF, I want to set red to full color. 88 for green and 11 for blue, which means I have a lot more red in this text in F and a lot of blue color in C. That's what you can see here, right? See a lot of blue color in C, a lot of red color in F. That's what it is. Okay. Because we do not have enough time, I think I can give me 30 more minutes. So I want to read this Windows. This is, I think this is very, very good content. You may not see this in other books, but I wrote this a few days ago. The one that I wrote here is that once you have tkinter and then create a basic window by invoking the constructor tk, then you have 3 possible ways to put graphical components. The first way is that you can simply place graphical interface directly on that basic window. That is the first case here. The second case, you can use a canvas. Third one is you can use frame. So frame and canvas both are very similar, but as it says literally, if it is a canvas, then usually something to draw, right? That is for canvas. Frame, usually when you make some graphical user interface, the way that we did temperature converter. But in the temperature converter, we didn't create frame, but we place the graphical components directly in the basic window, right? Remember that the code that we just did? We created TK, and then TK contains graphical components directly without having to create another container in between with either canvas or frame. That is possible. So this is the way that we did. And the other way is that we create canvas, okay, and then put some drawing there. That's what we did the first session of this semester. Canvas, right? So I wanted to go back to and read that. And another way is that frame. So this is sort of a frame-based user interface. So read it and practice. This is another exercise that I made. I'm not sure if I can ask you to do this for your second homework assignments, but depending upon user enter, for example, I want to have a 15 polygonals. Okay, polygons. So 15 polygons from n equals 0 to 14. Then it draws that way automatically, right? If I give 27, then 27 polygons, and in different size. If I give a smaller size of canvas, then everything will become smaller. If I have a bigger, then become bigger. But everything should be in almost full of this canvas. In this case, we have 6 polygons in each row, right? But here only 4 polygons in each row. What it does is that this is a width and this is height. If we have a longer width than height, because height is a smaller, lower bound, so we stick to we consider the smaller number between height and width, because the height is smaller, so we fully use the height. So height is full in this case, right? Both of this. But on the other hand, if we have same size, then still look at the same ones. See here, we consider the width. So width is full. The other one is height is full. The one that I want to work with you is this example. The following script. So that you have example here. So I want you to do this. What it does here is frame is in this way. Frame is a container. Okay. Frame is a container. Frame is a container which is contained in the basic window, which is TK, right? So TK is first created, which contains frame, but frame can contain another inner frames, or frame can stay together vertically and horizontally as far as we organize frames in table format. Remember the table? columns and row numbers. So that's what we want to practice. In this case, look at this. In this case, see, we have a basic window. Basic window is not shown here. In that basic window, we have on top frame. I can create top frame, and then middle frame, and then bottom frame. So basic window contains 3 frames vertically: top frame, middle frame, and bottom frame. But that is not all. We can have more. Inside this middle frame, we have a middle left frame and middle right frame. So we have two more inner frames which are contained in this middle frame. Similarly, bottom frame, we have 3 frames which are contained in this bottom frame, plus we have on top, first row of this bottom frame, we have another label. Okay? That's what we have here in this code. So I'm going to explain to you a little bit. Watch this. We have root, which is the basic window. The size is 500 and 250. Top frame is a frame. So frame is constructed. See, this is the frame constructor. So frame is in the root. Root is a basic window, right? Frame is in the basic window, which is called top frame. Another frame in the basic window, which is called the mid frame. Another frame, which is in the basic window, is called the bottom frame. The size of that, the width of 500, they are all the same size as the basic windows. Height is different. Top frame 20, mid frame 150, and then bottom frame 80. So altogether, if we add them all, then that'll be 250. Okay, which means I split. This is 250, but I split top 20, 150, and 80. That's what I did. And then we create more frame. This frame is within mid frame. See the difference? All these 3 frame is contained in the root, which is outer window. These 2 frames are within that mid frame, MID-FRM. MID-FRM is already defined up here, right? That's in mid frame. So in mid frame has 2 frames, one left and one right. And then in different background color, I have here AF, which is this gray, and then 1187FF. This is a little blue. I mean, too much blue and less red. That is this blue-like. So we have 2 frames, which are contained in that mid frame. Bottom, we have 3 frames, right? 3 frames. In the same way, we have 3 frames. This is one frame, another frame, and another frame. Each frame has a button. Okay, what is how we place those frames? How many frames? We have 3 frame here, 2 frame, and another 3 frame. So total 8 frames. So 8 frames stated in this way. Top frame, row 0. See here? This is a row 0. This is the second row, third row, whatever the rows. I do not know how many rows, but see here. So first row is the top. Second row is mid. In the mid, we have two columns, column 0 and column 1. So we don't need to do this. I think we can do 0. Doesn't really matter, right? And the real matter is this. Top row, row 0, that is a top frame. Row 1, that is a mid frame. And then I said here 2, therefore the bottom frame is 3. Within the bottom frame, I have a row 2. They are all in the row 2. Row 2, I have first column, second column, and third column. So column 0, 1, and 2. Similarly here, we have a column 0 and column 1. Within this mid column, if you have a multiple rows, then you can say row 0, row 1, row 2, row 3, within that frame. Same thing here. And we have only one special variable, string variable. The top, the row 0, I put this, your commentation. That's what I put here. And then another text, another label. Here, this is another label. That is, I said the execution and grid 0 and 0 in bottom frame. This row 0 is within that bottom frame. I want to put this text on the first row and first column. But in the first column, I put that in shifted to the right. Okay. Another label here. I want to put this shoot. We have a shoot. That is a variable. I want to shoot some text to this label. That label is the same container, bottom frame. In the bottom frame, same row, row 0. But column is different. This column is 0, this column is 1. So that this, if you see here, execution, this is a column 0, and maybe this is column 2. Okay, two different things. The execution, that is hard-coded written. Whatever follows, that is after I click one of these. And then I have a button. 3 buttons. 3 buttons placed. See here, I created a button variable, and then I assign the grid separately. So 2 statements are declared here. Remember that you can push this into to this button statements so that you have 1 statement. But in another way, you could have separate statements as I did here, right? This button is in the row 2, but column 0. Another button is the second row, which is the third row, and then the second column, another button, the same row, in the same row, but next column. So column 0, 1, and 2. And each button has a command, so that when this button is clicked, then reset file, this is a function definition, or load file, another function definition, and save file, so that we have 3 functions should be executed. So those 3 functions appears here. As you can see here, if I do a save file, then that variable, that special variable should set the value. Whatever the value written here should appear here. So initially, if you run this, then only you have execution. So as you click this, then you have other message stick to that execution. If you want to run it, you can run it. I have that. Where do I have that? Probably not here. Okay. So I'm going to IMG restrict. Maybe this. No, not this. Okay. So we need to close this first. Close this. Open this. So what I'm going to do is to run img GUI struct 0. Okay. So if I click this, then it appears here. Okay. The code for this is not this. But in text. Okay, this. This is the code. This is the execution. So if we click save, then something appears. Load, something else. If I say reset, then reset. Right? So as I click this, then this will change. All others remains. We didn't do anything about this. Okay? That is this one. But having this, another exercise, I probably ask you to do this. Exercise 5.3. Very similar to that, right? Top frame, mid frame, and bottom frame. In the middle frame, we can say enter a temperature. The two buttons separately. If you click this to Celsius, if you click that, then it is Fahrenheit, and so on and so forth, right? So, yeah. So this will be your next homework assignments. Homework assignments is in exercise 5.3. All right. So any question? So practice. So code there, but you have to, the way that I explained, there's very straightforward. In frame contains another frame and another frame, so that you can organize it very nicely. You can practice in this way. For example, the bottom here, if you do not create a separate frame, if you do not create separate frame, what would happen? If you simply put a button, then all the buttons are stick together. it doesn't look good. But if you want to make a button contained in a separate frame, and frames are organized in this way, and first row and second columns, something like that, then it looks very nice, very, very, very well organized. If you enter these buttons directly into a frame without creating extra frames, extra inner frames, then your graphical components will be organized in rough way. Sometimes it looks so ugly. That is my comments.
So the Python web development uses more frames. Is that it? Because it looks.
If you want to make a, other than drawing, yes, frames are much better. If you want to do drawing, then it should be canvas, right? If you want to draw, then canvas, use a canvas. If you want to do like typical user interface like this, or even for the I'll show you. Yes, like this. Hold on. Yeah, something like this. You have here file button like this. This is our Microsoft Word, right? You can make this in this Python. In our text editor, if you click this file, then it opens some, so it creates this and help. You can add more and more, like we used to have Microsoft Word, right? You can create this Microsoft Word using Python. Or Microsoft Word is expensive, right? You can emulate Microsoft Word in this way. So this kind of user interface is simulated in frame rather than canvas. All right. So if you do not have any questions, which one?
Can we take a break?
No, it's not break. This is it for today's lesson. Okay. Okay. I'll see you next 2 weeks.